And remember, feel free, like, it doesn't need to be like a formal thing. You guys can talk right now. Like, I can extract this audio
Oh,
out.
hold on, no, it's 3 p.m. EST, so that's in 1 hour.
That's right. Eastern.
Uh,
I forgot that it's Central.
I thought it was Central Time, so we're fine.
Alright then. Let me quick change my title here. It looks like the stream is running. And I can change the title to Podcast, Episode 3, not Day 12 Cockerel Function Stream. Boom. Alright. We are live. Okay, you guys ready?
yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Alright, let's do it. Alright. Alright, welcome friends to the third episode of the Fuwanovel podcast and my restoration attempt to make this possible for the Fuwanovel community. First, before we begin, I would like to thank Tay and Batman for beginning this and actually continuing this tradition. The first episode was produced by Tay and a couple other people, and Batman produced the second episode, and you guys can check that out on the actual website itself. I do plan to take some of the audio from that and put it into one collective spot so we can all view these. I also plan to do live streams of these, as you are well aware, because we will also upload the audio as well when we are finished. So feel free to join us on the episode 3. Today, we will be asking a few questions to some very special guests we have in the channel with me. And if you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves, any one of you can begin and just give your name and where you're from, I guess. So we'll begin with that. Go ahead, guys.
Okay, then I'll start. I'm Maefdomn, I guess. So yeah, basically I'm 9. Yeah, I'll be your guest in this.
Okay. Welcome.
I'm Nosebleed. I'm from Portugal, and hopefully I can provide some insightful comments tonight, despite being super nervous. But yeah, take care of me.
You'll be fine. Don't worry.
All right, and I'm Aldred. I'm from Texas, Central Time, and yeah.
That's it. That's all you got. I'm just from Texas. All right. All right. All right,
Yeah,
guys.
that's it.
So today I'm going to be asking you some questions. We got some questions from our viewers, and they want to know a little bit about your personal interests in visual novels, anime, anywhere in the community of the 2D realm of games and things like that. So we'll start right off and get right into it here with the first question. So our viewers would like to know, there are many different personality characteristics that exist in the Japanese culture, and if I butcher any of these names, please forgive me. I do not speak Japanese, so I apologize for that. We have the tsundere, kudere, dandere, yandere, and other types of personality traits. Of all these character traits and personalities, which do you prefer and why? Are there any good visual novels that you believe exhibit these good character representations of these personalities for the ones you enjoy? So I'll begin with one of you. If Nosebleed, we'll start with you. If you would like to start us off, go ahead and give us your opinion. What do you like and why?
I'm kind of split. Personally, I prefer kuderes just because. uh, God, I'm so
I didn't
nervous.
think you'd
I'm
go for
sorry.
that.
I'm sorry.
You're fine. Take your time. If
Yeah,
you want, why don't you explain what a kudera is to people that don't know? Because even I'm kind of unfamiliar with it.
Basically,
we're talking about character tropes, aren't we?
Yes.
Yes, so
these
yeah,
are all
you,
character
you can
tropes.
talk about Lolicon, you can talk about Imoto, lots of stuff.
yeah.
Thought about.
Sure. I mean, personally, favorite, of course, are lollies, but like that's such a general term, and it's not really a personality, more of a physical trait. Actual personality traits, I'd say, emoto characters are my favorite, simply because I, I mean, I guess I like the whole uh, forbidden love thing. Like I started with Yosuga no Sora. I watched the anime, then I played the visual novel, and it just seeing the relationship between the both the brother and sister develop was like the most amazing thing I saw in a while. I
Okay.
thought it was like really romantic and stuff. And then after that, I started searching for more Emoto characters and just connect with me. I just like pretty much all of them. There's only been one single Emoto character I haven't liked till this date, and that's Sakura from Dakapo. I can't stand her. Sorry.
Okay. What would you say is? Let's apologize for the phone. What would you say is a common like when you say emoto character? What are some common characteristics that involve with those character? Because emoto in its term itself just means a younger sister. So what
Yeah.
exactly like?
Yeah.
I mean,
Mainly
And
just uh, the cutesy type, that calls their brother nicknames and stuff like that. I mean, I have a soft spot for that.
right?
Uh, best best character I can come up with is Chinami from Hoshizaru no Memoria.
I
I
like
mean,
Chinami. Okay.
no,
Yes.
I, I
Yes.
know you guys hate her, but I'm sorry, I love her.
I don't think
No,
she's a
I
bad
don't.
character.
I
I just
agree.
didn't prefer her route. It was a good route because it talked a lot about the
She
family,
was the best route.
but
She
I think
was the best one. She was adorable.
I don't know. I just didn't like her look. Her character trait could have been put on somebody that looked a little better, and I would have been satisfied with it. That's my personal opinion. But I'm not a pink hair person. I didn't like her outfit either. It just didn't fit me. I'm very big on that.
What?
It
You
didn't have it.
people are very picky.
You gotta be picky when it comes to
What
visual
would you have
novels.
rathered her?
Um, I don't know.
What?
I just didn't like the same. I didn't like the outfit. Maybe like a hoodie. I would have been fine with like a hoodie or something. That would have been kind of cuter.
Hoodie?
Yeah.
Seriously?
I don't
I
like.
don't think I've ever seen someone wear a hoodie in a visual novel.
Yeah, me neither.
It's very
Ever.
disappointing too because it's pretty common over there when you. Well, it's pretty common what people wear.
Really? Really?
People always wear hoodies or sweatshirts. Like it's just I don't know. But they gotta make the character look good, I guess. So that's what it is. But okay. What about the rest of you? What do you guys think in terms of personality traits? Which do you prefer? Why?
oh, so I'll go ahead. I don't really have one favorite thing besides maybe Dojiko or really clumsy girls, really cute girls like I don't know Karizawa, but we don't see much of them in visual novels, or I can't recall any I've personally read. Really clumsy girls. But, I find them incredibly cute.
Okay.
I really like them, but I can't I can't do a summary of my taste. I like lots of different characters. My favorite character in visual novel would be Lily, and not clumsy at all. Like Kudere or or Dandere, I don't know.
I know some people.
What would she be?
I'm not too well versed in that stuff. And for the other one of you guys, if you want to ask questions too, you're more than welcome to. Like, it's not just me asking the questions. You guys can ask questions too.
What's her name again?
Lily. Did you not read Katawa Shoujo?
Oh, Emmy.
No.
Emmy. Okay.
Oh!
No,
Emmy.
Lily.
Oh,
Lily.
Lily. Oh, Lily's too. Oh man, I'm just bashing everyone's opinion. I'm sorry.
I did not read that.
Uh, she was my least favorite. I'm sorry.
Nah, I thought Lily was
Oh, I
okay.
don't understand you guys.
She's. I honestly haven't done her out, so I really don't know. But I heard it has a lot of feels in it. So, um,
I
Lily.
skipped all of it.
Lily was just. I don't know. I don't like really high class people, but she does have a good personality. I enjoyed it. I just don't like high class. Like, let's drink some tea. I'm like, no.
It wasn't really about that. It was about her attitude, calm, and she knows what she's doing, and pleasant and interesting to read. Her route was really it was real romance.
Yeah, I
Not,
remember.
you do a route and then you have sex, and it
Okay, so you like the kind of
wasn't the case.
characters. You kind of like the characters that have.
Yeah, I like calm characters. Yeah, blonde characters. Blonde.
Okay. So stuff that like involves like true romance, not so much forced romance. I guess they're not really forced romance, but like I can understand what you mean. It took time to establish that relationship, um,
Yeah,
and I mean
exactly.
like it wasn't exactly like they were dating, but like I think if I remember correctly, in most of the routes in Katawa Shoujo, they didn't really like immensely. They were kind of just like boyfriend girlfriend. It wasn't like a deep love where they got married. It wasn't anything like that with after stories. So it was kind of just we fell for each other. Katawa
Well, that's
Shoujo did.
about as far as most visual novels go.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
I
just a
mean,
boyfriend girlfriend.
that's true. Yeah, I could say that. All right,
Boyfriend girlfriend with promises.
that 100%. Yep. All
Yeah,
right.
promises. That's what it is.
I promise we'll be together forever. All right, Aldred, what do you think? What is your favorite character personality trait and why?
All right, I have two. The first one is Tsundere's. I think I said that right. I don't know. Like, like if you've ever seen or read Kamidori Alchemeister, Eula
Oh
is it
no.
as it's Tsun, and
Oh.
I just think that's the best. That's the best personality that a girl can have.
Did you guys ever watch?
It really is.
Did you guys ever watch the show Hey Arnold as a kid on Nickelodeon?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
remember Helga was a perfect example. That's how I always remember that trait because I remember that
They
Helga from
get
that
so
show.
annoying to me.
But Eula is not like that.
No, I know, but it's just like now when I think of like when I try to describe that personality trait to other people, not using like a Japanese reference, I use like Hey Arnold. I'm like that's pretty much what it is, but it's not like they're not obsessively in love with you that they have a shrine built after you. That's just crazy. Like I'm sorry.
Well, another good one, a good example of them, at least in my opinion, is Kotori from Date Alive. She's like, she's a good one too.
Yeah, she's best girl. Come on.
Well, I don't know about that, but
I never I've actually seen. I haven't gotten a chance to watch Data Live. Is that like a recent anime that came out?
I think
It's
it was
on
last
season
year.
two.
Oh, it's
Yeah, it
last
was
year.
last year.
Okay.
It's on season
Season
two.
2 only has 10 episodes, though. It's like halfway through.
All right. Interesting. And you said you had a second personality trait or something that you enjoy. What was that?
Yeah, I don't know if there's really a description or like a word for it, but the etchy sketchy type. I like those. Um, a good example of that would be Elena from Draku Riot.
Describe that.
And
What do you mean by etchy sketchy?
like the ones who will make like crazy like jokes, perverted jokes, that kind of deal. But then they're also sweet.
Okay, so
So
it's
you
kind
like
of like
perverted girls.
they joke
Yes.
about sex, but they're virgins themselves. So when it actually comes to performing the act, they're
Yes.
shy as hell and they have no idea what they're doing. Like
They're
most
very
people,
daring.
they yeah, they don't know. They think they know how sex works, but then they really don't know how sex works. And then you're like, well, this is really weird. Um, okay,
Yeah.
interesting. Like I know that's I guess we can expand on that. That's actually something I'll kind of ask because I'm interested about that. You talk about how like the perverted jokes and stuff. That's a pretty common comedy. What's the word I'm looking for? Like a comedy.
Comic relief.
Yeah, comic relief that they do a lot in Japanese visual novels. It's kind of a Japanese comedy. What do you guys think about that? We'll just ask that.
They did that a lot in no Keijutsu
Yeah.
and Makina. But I thought it was funny the two first hours. I got bored.
I mean,
Uh,
yeah, keep going.
uh,
I,
I,
I didn't have any.
Okay. What about the other? What about you guys? Other two?
I was saying like perverted jokes. They either fall flat or they're hilarious. But usually they tend to like use the protagonist in like really cliche situations, or they use like the best friend that's usually a background character for comic relief, and like it gets so repetitive and boring. I get tired of it. For me, perverted jokes. If it's a girl doing it, it's funny because it's a girl. Girls don't usually make perverted jokes, but when it's a guy, I get so bored of it.
I think that's one of the reasons that I kind of enjoyed Grisaya's character with Machina because some of the lines, and unless this was just the translation work itself, but some of the lines that came out were like it went above and beyond what you kind of expect. Where it's like, oh, let's just call somebody perverted and make a joke about, whatever, like looking at girls in the changing room. Like, okay, that's a common joke, but like then you have Machina who goes as far as to talk about like masturbation, and then it's like, well, now that's that's something you don't see every day, and that's
Yeah,
why I kind of enjoyed Grease
yeah,
Side.
that
So
original stuff is always better.
yeah, so that's how I kind of enjoy. What about you, Aldred? What do you think? What do you feel
I
about it?
think they're I don't think they're overused. I mean, I like them, but oh, it's like Nosebleed said. It's either like they'll be really funny or they'll just fall flat.
Okay, makes sense. All right, well,
I don't really have much else to add on that.
that's fine.
One thing about I like one other character I like is Yandere's, because more they aren't just girls that want to kill you. Also, really over attached
That's a good
girls.
way to put it.
You can be sure that they'll never dump you, and it's a sure relationship. I like that.
Yeah,
I'll get myself a Yandere in real life, so I
they're
can.
they're they're useful minions.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, they're not gonna leave you.
Okay. So here's a question on that, because now you've opened up. I like that. Two questions actually. We'll start with this first one here. Yanderes are usually associated with visual novels that have a dark sense to them, just because of the character trait that they are. They're probably not going to be a comedy, because you can't really put. Like you said, it's not always killing, but you can't really put that theme into some comedy yet. At least I haven't seen one. If you know one, please let me know.
You can. There's Oreimo with Ayase. She's a yandere clearly, but
Okay.
the whole tone of the visual novel is pretty light.
Okay. I mean, it's. I haven't really seen it, but I mean, like, do you prefer that character trait in those, like, dark settings, or do you prefer them in the light settings? Like, the less. Because, like, you can.
I as when you're trying to build a romance, I think a darker setting is more fitting, just because you can really see both sides of the character fully. And when it's a more lighthearted setting, you can't really take it too seriously because they're going to kill you, but the whole novel takes it lightly, so it doesn't really affect you in any way.
You can't really
Passive.
showcase that it's really happening because it's not a dark novel. I can
Yeah.
understand that. Okay. What do you guys think? Aldred and Life? Which do you prefer?
I don't. I can't really think of any yanderes I've ever read in a visual novel. I've only
They're
read a
very.
handful, like six or seven, and
Yeah.
most of them are lighthearted. I can't do the ones that are real serious in darker plots like Saya no Uta. I I don't know. I just can't do those, so I don't really come across them.
I mean, I like reading good horror
Yeah,
stories. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Yeah.
I've never same as Aldred. I've never really encountered any real Yanderes in novels.
Okay.
I thought it was an anime thing.
Hmm. Yeah.
I didn't realize it could be in a visual novel. It feels pretty. I don't know. It feels,
I completely understand that. Okay. So going on that next question then, which I had another question for this was, what was I going to say? I believe it was, you're talking about Yanderes. Oh, if you said that those people can be attached to you. Now, a lot of the times, that doesn't always mean it's a good thing if somebody is always going to be attached to you, because if you ever do want to get away from the relationship, you really don't have a choice, and you're probably going to be stalked for the rest of your life. So let's say you do move on to a new interest. So I'm saying, I mean, do you think that's a good thing that this person's going to be attached to you for the rest of their life and they'll never leave you? And then you're scared to actually lead them because they might do some crazy stuff around you? Or do you believe that that's a good thing to have people constantly following you? Do you like that much attention always and never being able to get rid of it? Or do you kind of, if you want to break up with somebody, you're kind of like, yeah, we need to break it off? Because they wouldn't take that lightheartedly. I don't think they would.
I personally, I really wouldn't care to have like a bunch of groupies with me. Like, I'm not gonna just talk to random girls while I have a yandere girlfriend. That would be really retarded. Personally, I would just
Aaron.
be with her. Like, I don't need a bunch of people. I wouldn't cheat on her. So, but if I really chose to like not be with her anymore, I mean, I just calmly sit on a chair and accept my fate and get killed, I guess.
see. I
But
see.
I th-
It's a good way to put
but
it.
I think it's no, because if I try to run away, if she didn't kill me, she'd kill everyone else around me. So I mean, I better just just make it quick. But yeah, I think it's a good thing if you because if you go out with the yandere knowing she's a yandere, then you're probably making a rational decision. Of course, if you don't know she's a yandere, then you're probably really screwed.
Yeah, probably. What do you guys? What do you think?
I wouldn't ever want to have a yandere, because that would destroy my plans of having a harem.
Good answer. Good answer. I like that answer. Okay. Any comments,
But
Mike?
a harem is so hard to take care of.
It's true.
What?
What do you think, Mike? Do you have
I
any
didn't
comments?
understand. About dating a yandere.
Yeah, like if you would you enjoy being attached, or would like knowing that you said, because you're the one that said it, was that you would be constantly attached to this person.
You you really love her and you're convinced 100% you're gonna stay in life, and then it's the bit. Either it's a terrible mistake, yeah, you're gonna die. But I'm not like Nosebleed. I'm not gonna accept my fate.
Okay.
Die.
I don't know.
You're gonna kill her instead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna kill
I'm
her.
gonna switch it around.
Just
Yeah.
accept your fate.
I don't know. I don't think I can. Going into that, I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah,
But...
best defense is attack.
All right. We know now that Mike will kill the person before he gets killed. He's a alpha male. He will
He's a
dominate.
hunter.
Yeah, he's a hunter. He's not the prey. All right, guys. Well, seems pretty good for that question. We can move on to the next question here. Some of the other questions from the viewers here is we have this next one here, which is, while there are many VNs with exceptional storytelling, there are also visual novels whose story is kind of much less a focus, and we call these VNs Nukige. If I did mispronounce that, I apologize. What is your opinion on these types of VNs? Do you prefer good storytelling when you read a visual novel? Do you prefer more, I guess, we could just put the H scenes. I mean, which do you prefer? Do you prefer? I mean, most people I agree would probably say that they prefer good storytelling, but do you sometimes play games literally because you see the artwork and are like, I really just want to see the H scenes and the porn out of this game and just not even read the story whatsoever? What's your opinion on that? And I guess I'll open this question up to Aldred to start. Sorry, I'll open up this question to Aldred to start. So, what do you think? I'll start with you, Aldred.
Well, I think to start, I think if anybody says that they don't want to watch the H scenes in a Nukige, then they shouldn't be reading it. So
I'm totally reading Nukige for the
Oh yeah, every time.
every time.
I mean, I
wow,
personally-
the story is so wonderful.
well, that's the thing. See, I don't read visual novels that have like crazy good stories. Like I haven't read the ones that are more highly acclaimed, like Ayakashi Bito. Is that how you say it? I've read ones like Shuffle and Kamidori Alchemy Meister because they're lighthearted. And I mean, yeah, they have H scenes in them, but I mean, who doesn't read them for those?
I mean, there is the HRPG. RPG. Just play to get the H.
Well, I don't play to get the H scenes. That's not what I'm saying.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess some people do play the games, and it
like
makes
if I
it
wanted
work
to do
for
that,
the-
you could just watch a Nukige or read a Nukige if that's what you wanted.
No, I didn't like. I mean,
Okay. What about you?
the whole point of it was just I know it was just an RPG with. I didn't really understand.
Okay. What about you, Nosebleed? What do you think?
I think they need to exist because like I'm never I'm never gonna have a harem in real life. Uh, I'm never gonna have lollies in real life, so I mean I need some place that exhibits my fantasies in some way that I can enjoy them. But anyway, I think nukigis are a good thing. I mean, or else people who have crazy fantasies where where are they gonna see them?
Okay.
Um,
I mean, do you prefer like games that are easier to read, or do you prefer some of the more like because you can like they were saying some of the highly acclaimed ones are usually more deeper and have more philosophical meaning to them. Like when you read like Grisaya, for example, was a high-end visual novel. Like there was a lot. If you really boil down and actually read the English, there's a lot of like, if you're not that intelligent or don't know a lot of stuff about the world, you wouldn't really understand it, because they went on a bunch of like like they would quote philosophers and things like that, from things and when he was talking about his like monologues and stuff, and so like those are higher end visual novels, and I feel like those are the ones that you really need to be like kind of have a sense of intelligence for. But then there's other ones that are really easy to understand and don't really like pull in a lot of outside world things, and just kind of make it their own world. So which one do you prefer? I'll ask that question, I guess. Do you prefer games that are just kind of their own world and have like don't really pull in like real stuff from other parts, or do you prefer visual novels that are like, hey, this is Japan, it exists in the world, and there are these people that existed in the past from real life, and we'll bring those in as examples? Which do you kind of prefer in terms of the storytelling?
um, I mean, it really depends on the what intention do I have when I start reading a novel. I mean, if I want a good storytelling, obviously I'm gonna read something like Grisaya that's deeper and has more meaning and nice writing. But if I just want like quick entertainment, I'll just go read something like Shuffle or Da Capo. That's just quick to read. You don't need to think. You can like turn off half of your brain and read it and enjoy most of it.
I feel
Yeah,
that's
it
what
really depends on what do I want to do.
I feel that's like what a lot of key novels are. I don't know. Now that I'm thinking of like Little Busters, I just feel that's exactly what that is. There's not really much requirement to read that novel. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Okay. What about you, Aldred Maef?
Okay, I'll go ahead. So yeah, I prefer the ones that don't have a setting in the world. Reason because it's often uh, wrongly done. It's really I don't like the way Grisaya included real things in the novel. I prefer when they do their own thing, like in Ever 17 or Planet or key novels. As you said, that's much. I like that much more rather than I don't know. It doesn't add anything to be able to quote the Japanese Prime Minister or anything. I don't understand why they do that. It doesn't.
Okay.
This I answered the question, did I?
Yeah. No, you answered it. It's kind of a
Yeah, I'm
hard
pretty
thing.
much.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, I'm pretty much. I feel the same way about them as they do.
Okay. I mean, it's kind of hard to like when you talk about storytelling versus what kind of games you like. Like, I mean, there are times we'll admit that I play games because I just like the art and I just want to look at some good artwork. Enjoy some nice artwork and not even care about what's around me. And a lot of the times, those games make you work for it. So you usually skip all the dialogue and just go right to what you want and hope you get it, and then you get it, or you just look up some CGs. But at least I do sometimes. But there are games too that when you start reading them and you actually pay attention to the story, they do pretty well. And and then you have kind of it's kind of a vice versa thing for me because like when I read those good stories, the age scenes are there, but I don't really care so much. I kind of actually really just want to get back to the story. Like I'm fine with the scene, and I'll be like, all right, the scene's here. But if the story's so good, it's like, oh my gosh, can we just get back to the plot? Like this is an important plot. Like why did we throw this scene in here? But then there's also games where you're just like, the plot's kind of slow. I could use a I could use a Nukige style thing here, and I could get some shots. That's at least my opinion about it.
It's funny you talk about Nukigaze as much good artwork because in my opinion, most of the Nukigaze have pretty crappy artwork. I have maybe some exceptions. Most of them are pretty bad in terms of art. That's my opinion. I've only read 3 of them, and 2 were mistakes.
Which 2 were those?
Mean to watch them. Watch what? Excuse me.
Stress test.
Okay.
Which Nukiges did I read? You mean?
Yeah, that was my question. Which two were your mistakes? I'm
Oh
interested
yeah.
to know which two were your mistakes.
First mistakes was Sisters, Natsu no Saigo no Hi, which was proposed to me or given to me because it's entirely animated,
Okay.
and it ended up being Nukige, so you understand where that goes. I have pretty much all the H scenes animated in seconds. I've H scene like minutes of talk, and then H scene is animated. But it was pretty well done, I have to. And the other one was Monster Quest Girl, and I just laughed so much because
Why?
I couldn't pass the second monster, and I keep getting raped by the slug girl, and that was disgusting.
That's a good one. I've never played this game, but just that you said that right there makes me realize that I don't know. This is a good
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
I really want.
The game. You get to a game over when you lose a fight, and I couldn't pass this monster and just keep repeatedly raped by the slug girl. That was disgusting.
That would not be
It's
fun.
not even exciting.
That would be lovely.
Slugs. Yeah. I don't like slimy things. Yeah. They gross me out.
Why? Why would you even?
Yeah, with the sounds.
Yeah, I suppose. That's fair enough. Fair enough. All right. I mean, yeah, because this is like I said, this is one of those tougher questions. We like, because it's you either like one or you like the other. But like, I mean, can you exhibit? You guys really haven't given you've given some examples, but can you name a Nukige that you guys enjoy, perhaps, or one of your favorite ones? Something that
Yeah.
also had like somewhat good storytelling, but was still exactly like perfect for you.
Uh, Pretty much the entire Sono Hanabira series. Like that's just perfection right there. I mean, it's beauty, it's cute, and it has all the H scenes you can ask for. So
Okay. What about you two?
Well,
All right. Well,
I never watch. I never read.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you kind of said that, but I don't know.
I'm an
Maybe.
angel.
Ah, of course.
you're
Getting
too
raped by
fancy.
I'm a
slug girl.
saint.
Yeah, getting raped by slug girl is crazy to
Exactly.
say, right?
Yeah, I lost my innocence.
Aldred, I know you're kind of new on the VN scene, but like, are there any that you've kind of even just looking at it? Let's say you haven't even played it, you just feel that the game would be extremely just. I want to play this super bad, but too bad it's all in Japanese or something.
any game or just Nuki gays?
Just a Nuki game that you think is like one you either have played or something you just really want to play.
Well, I don't really have an interest in playing a Nuki gay just because I don't really feel like the stories are all that great in them. But I will say that when I first started reading visual novels, I had watched the Shuffle anime, and I wanted to know, like, like what happens next? What happens next? Like, is there any more to this? And that's when I read the Shuffle VN, and I'll be honest, I control skipped through pretty much the whole VN just to get to Asa's H scenes, or however you say her name. And you could almost consider that to be a Nuki for me because that's, I didn't play it for the story. I
Yeah,
ended up going back and reading it for the story.
there's sometimes
But I
people
mean,
that just want to skip right to what they want.
but I mean that's how it was. And then I started seeing other visual novels like I'm trying to think what was my second visual novel. I don't know. It had good art. It has to have good art. Like if my heart had wings, that one has pretty good art. I downloaded that purely for the art, and I won't lie. I mean, I'm pretty excited for the H scenes on that.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's my opinion on it. I won't play Nuki Gay, but I do like the H scenes.
Okay. Any other comments from any of you guys? Because we can move on to another question here if you want to do that. Okay, we'll do that. So I have one other question here. This kind of didn't choose this one. I might have two, but this one I'm kind of interested about. So the question we have here is: you are given the task of telling a good friend or significant other about the world of visual novels. And I'm not saying if you have ever introduced anyone to a visual novel, how did you go about doing it? And if you were planning to introduce somebody to the world of Japanese PC games, what would you recommend and how would you explain it to them? Going along that as well, are you more of a open visual novel discusser outside of the realm of, in this case, Fuwanovel, or how we talk here, or are you more of a closet VN lover who kind of just keeps his secrets to himself and doesn't want people to know about it? So I guess we'll open up to Mike to start this question. What do you think? You can start with really anything.
Yeah, I actually hooked a friend up with visual novels. I'm proud of that. First of all, he has to be kind of an otaku. You know, he has to be in the anime, manga stuff. You don't introduce people to visual novels like this. It's just books with manga art, so you can't. It doesn't work for people who don't know anything about the world. So first of all, that's the first condition, and then I don't know. It doesn't suit everybody. It doesn't suit everybody. It has to be someone who is open-minded, and then if I want to introduce, I choose easy visual like Katawa Shoujo or I don't know. Planet also is a good. Key ends are good.
Okay.
And try to guide them through how I personally did.
Okay. Would you say you are, in that case, more of an open person about your visual novel hobby, or that you tend to like to keep it to yourself? I mean, if people ask about kind of your hobbies, do you say that I read visual novels, I enjoy them, they're interesting, or do you kind of keep it to yourself?
Yeah, I don't talk about it if they ask me about it, but if they ask about my hobbies, yeah, I'll gladly talk about it. I really want visual novels to become more popular, so I can get to talk about it not only on the forums. It's great I can, but I also want to be able to outside friends. I mean, I'd like.
Okay. Going along that, then, were you, when you were introduced to visual novels or found out about them, were you introduced from a friend or somebody else, or did you find them just completely on your own? I mean, like just by just doing the research and just stumbled upon them?
I found it thanks to a YouTuber.
Okay. Just kind of
I
watched a video on
liked the
YouTube.
first. Yeah, exactly. And I went through the thing. It was Katawa Shoujo. I went through it in 3 days, and yeah, then Planet, and
Okay. So most people started with
now I
Katawa
have.
Shoujo.
Well,
I think most people started with
really
Katawa
easy to
Shoujo
read, and it's
also,
a good story.
just because
So
of the hype of it.
generic.
Yeah, the hype of it. I mean, it was really popular in the artist community, and then artists start to go. That's how I was introduced, actually.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, where was the hype coming from? Because I've never heard of Katawa Shoujo
Watch
before I came
4chan.
to Fuwanovel.
I heard it on 4chan.
Yeah.
4chan.
How it basically started
Root game.
was this person, I forgot her name or his name, posted some artwork of some.
Rent.
Yeah, one of the posted some artwork, and these guys were like, some dudes just were like, let's make a game out of this, and then they actually stuck through it, and it took them like 4 years, from like 2007, 2008 to like 2012 when it was released, and they just made this game. Of course, it's not as good as it could have been because like act there was like 4 acts to it, and act 1 was kind of the collaborative work where the story makes sense, but then kind of it, you can definitely tell, just tapers off, and each story was just kind of written separate, and then they all came together and were like, all right, how do we put this all together? And so it doesn't really like, you'll really notice kind of some of the things in the game don't really have like the connective flow to it, like it doesn't really all fit. They do a good job of it, but like you can definitely tell like they just kind of went off on their own, wrote their own story, were happy with it, and then just threw it on the table and were like, all right, find a way to put this into the whole world of the game. And so that's where it kind of,
Well, yeah, the story. Each route had their own artists and writers.
Yep.
That's why there's such a difference in quality between them.
yeah. So I mean,
Why
it's
Shizune's route also was
Yeah.
art and the writing was.
completely understandable. All right, well, what about you two, Nosebleed and Aldred? What are you? I guess we'll start with the easy question. I guess I'll just ask Nosebleed. What are you more of a closet VN person? Do you like sharing your hobby with those around you? If you ever do talk to people, things like that.
Yeah, I'm more of a closet. I mean, I have no friends. No, but there's like a couple of people who I talk to and they were like into anime like I am, and I introduced him to visual novels because they really like certain anime that had an adaptation. And I told them, oh, there's a visual novel of that, and it's like it's better than the anime. And so I showed them. I showed them Fuwanovel. I gave them some tips, and they like started reading Eight Day Night and Grisai no Kajutsu, and they loved it. And yeah, that's how pretty much I introduced them to visual novels. But for people who are not into anime or just the whole Japanese culture thing, I can't, because the usual reaction is like, oh yeah, that's great, yeah, sure, and
It's
they're not interested.
it's interesting you say that because that's how one of my friends was actually. He when he introduced me to Katawa Shoujo, he enjoyed that game, but he couldn't. I tried introducing him to other visual novels after when I did the research about it, and he couldn't get into it because it's the Japanese writing style and how they do things are so much different than how the Katawa Shoujo people, because they were actual English writers, and so
Yeah,
it's just a different. It's a different beast. He's like, I can't get into the Japanese stuff because it's just the cliches. I don't like the style of how they do it. It's so
yeah,
much different than Hakuto.
you need to introduce him to the whole Japanese culture thing beforehand.
And I mean, it's interesting to see. I guess I'll ask this as a question. Recent visual novels have a lot of. I don't know if you do a lot of recent visual novels or if you just retranslate visual novels, but recent visual novels have a lot of more modern culture to them, and they actually, I feel, in the game style are becoming more like Western in style because just modernization and world stuff is just so much like. If you go to Japan now, it's the generation now is so much different than the generation was a decade ago, or however many years ago. And so like it's more modern, and you can see a lot of more Western influence and like world influence than just the specific Japanese. So like the recent visual novels I've noticed, especially like we're doing Kokoro Function, is so much more modern in terms of just personality styles and just how people act than it is in like, obviously it's a fantasy world and it's different, but like I don't know, I just feel it's different. What do you think about that? Do you think that's true? I mean, if you have seen any recent visual novels, or what do you feel?
Uh, Sadly, I barely read any recent visual novels. I mean, my list is pretty averagely small, so
Okay, fair enough. All right, and then how were you introduced to visual novels? I'll ask that question to you as well.
um, it was pretty much on my own. Like I was watching anime, I was watching Little Busters, and I cried in that. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty good. Like in the individual story arcs, like I cried twice, and I was like, wow, this is great. And then I started looking it up, and I saw, oh, it's an adaptation of a visual novel. Like, what the hell is this? And then I searched it up and saw the Little Busters novel. You could like actually get romantically involved with the heroines, and I was like, oh, that's much better than the anime. And so yeah, I downloaded it and tried it. It was the best experience ever. And after that, I read Katawa Shoujo like any generic visual novel fan, and I also liked it. And yeah, after that, I just got into it. It was just better.
All right, all right. What about you, Aldred? Go. What do you got? What do you think? One
What's the
second.
first question?
I'm gonna have to pause for 1 second as we wait for some dogs to stop. I apologize to our streamers. Give me 1 second, please.
Bark.
Technical difficulties.
I apologize about that. I'm back. I do have dogs in my house, so I can't, unfortunately, help that. 3 dogs to be exact, so usually is the case. They might still be barking a little bit. But all right, go ahead, Aldred, if you want to share your opinions. And actually, I will.
Give me your first question.
Okay. So
Because there was a couple.
yeah, what I guess okay. If you were given the task to, I'm
User
sorry.
disconnected from your channel.
If you were given the task to, oh, it looks like we lost somebody. Oh, we must have lost Mike. But all right, they'll try to get back in. If you were given the task of trying to
User
explain
joined
the
your
world
channel.
of, I'll go back, of visual novels to your friends or stuff, how would you go about doing it? Like, I guess we'll start with the closet one. Are you more of a closet VN lover, or do you kind of like sharing your opinion with your friends around you that you talk to that enjoy this kind of stuff?
Okay, to start, no, I do not share my opinion about them. In fact, I don't think anybody around me knows that I do. So I guess you could say closet.
Okay.
Um, if I was to introduce it to somebody, I guess I would just say it's like a novel with art. I mean, that's about as good as I can put it, um, without really giving, well, there's H scenes in it too, because that's obviously going to turn a lot of people off on them. Um, so I mean, yeah, I guess I would just say that.
Okay. How were you introduced to visual novels?
From Shuffle.
Okay.
I saw the anime. I looked it up, and I saw on the wiki it said visual novel. I was like, what is this? I thought it was like another term for a light novel. But then after looking it up, I found out it was a visual novel, and I ended up playing it.
Okay. Very interesting. Are there any? I guess I'm trying to think of. Do you have any other people you know about in your friend circle that, or group of whatever that you hang out with, that you know might be into this kind of stuff as well, or you just do you think you're pretty well hidden and then nobody knows what you enjoy?
Well, it's not that I want to be. It's just that my friends aren't into this kind of thing. It's just like it's the group of friends that I've had since high school. I'm in college now, so I've been friends with them for years now, and it's just not something they're into. So it's not something I would ever try and introduce them to. So I mean, I guess if they asked me, I would say yeah, I do, but it's really not something that never comes up or that I would feel the need to explain to them.
Okay. Any other comments from any of you guys about anything? Would you
Yeah,
prefer?
Aldred made a good point in saying that we have to first uh, take a soft approach when you start talking about age content. Yeah, that's gonna not an attractive point of visual novels for most of the people. Say there's gonna be adult content, they're not gonna create a good reaction.
Okay, I can
Like,
understand.
or
I can completely understand that. One of the things I try, my own personal, I guess, opinion about it is usually when I try to introduce people to them, I let them know that there is sexual content in the game because, well, sex sells. It's just something that has always been the way of life. But I mean, you watch, I ask them, usually I'll start with this. I ask them, do you watch Game of Thrones? And they'll say, yeah, I watch Game of Thrones, which is a very popular HBO TV series. And I say, okay, do you obviously it's part of the show, but there's a lot of sex in there. Unnecessary sex that probably doesn't need to be put in for those scenes because that's what life was like back then. Are you comfortable with that kind of stuff? And usually, if they are, I'll be like, okay, just think of this as adding an element to a game for that exact purpose. I mean, some of the scenes in, obviously, that are foretold in the book because I have read the Game of Thrones books, is that they're not any way represented in the actual TV series and how they do it in HBO, and it's much different. And they just literally throw in scenes that aren't even needed or necessary or are not even described in the book, for the purpose of throwing in sex. And so that's one thing I kind of like to do. I kind of relate it to more real life situations. It is a little more different because obviously they are just sex scenes. Um, there goes my cuckoo clock. So in their sense, they are, I guess, like they're love scenes, and not many people. It is. It's a different beast, but it does kind of open them up a little more to it, and realize that, you know, they might be interested. So I've actually convinced a few friends myself because I'm more of a non-closet type. I used to be a closet type, but then I realized that there's really no point in hiding something that you're really that big in a hobby. So I opened up to it more. But okay, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah, that's true.
My one of a personal experience of mine with the people that are not into like Japanese culture or anime or anything. I tried. They're like my friends from high school. I tried showing them like Hoshisaru no Memoria, just not an age scene, just like part of it, and they just their reaction was like they couldn't understand how it was interesting. Like it's just 2D characters, and they complain like, oh, high pitched voice and Japanese so annoying and stuff like that. And just from that personal experience, I just can't like tell this stuff to people who I know are not into Japanese culture. I just can't.
It's it's definitely interesting you say that because back before I was introduced to Katawa Shoujo, I was so much into like Japan was a. I don't want to be rude to any Japanese people, of course, and I'm not trying to stereotype, but they have a weird culture. Like when you live in your own culture, you're like, oh my gosh, like there'd be commercials for like sex toys and things, and you'd just be like, what is wrong with Japan? And you'd say that, you'd be like, what the heck? So I was never into anime. I was just like, Japan is weird, but they probably, and all this stuff. And then I don't know, my opinion completely changed, and it wasn't because of like, it's just because when you start actually picking and choosing like the good visual novels and you can really boil down to their interest, it's like Katawa Shoujo was a good game. They had sex scenes in them, but they handled it. Katawa Shoujo's sex scenes to me are their age scenes are just so much different than every other.
Except
Yeah,
except that storage shed.
yeah. But I mean, like that's like I don't know, like that's an American, like I don't know. It was the like I said, it wasn't the Japanese style. It was more of like an open world. Like this is kind of what it would be like, but I mean, obviously that went a little bit far. But like there's certain things they added some interesting elements to the game. But I mean, it felt more real to me than other VNs. But that's just my opinion. So I mean, we'll say this
I
then:
agree with that.
if there is one visual novel that you guys would, if you were to recommend something to a visual novel fan, what would be like the number one visual novel if you could pick and choose one that you would say, play this you'll love this, or something. It could be any visual novel.
Klana, probably. I mean,
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, but it's a really good way to like get into visual. It doesn't have sex scenes, so like it won't bother anyone that's not into sex scenes. And I mean, the story is just it's good. It's a good story, and the characters are good, and everything's pretty much good. So yeah, I'd recommend that one.
It is very interesting. Before you guys say what you want to, that Clannad After Story and Steins Gate are the top-rated animes pretty much in the world, and those are both visual novels. And it's
Yeah,
it's
Steins Gate's also pretty good.
I mean, well, Steins Gate's just rated so high. I mean, it's just like probably, in my opinion, one of the best
And
animes and like at least adaptations and in the world. Like that's my honest opinion about it. But some people might think otherwise. But it's just it's interesting because like then they say these. I talk to my friends who are into anime and they go, these are great anime, and I'm like, that these originally were visual novels, and they're like, what, really? And I'm like, yep. Like most of these high-rated stuff originally were stories before they became actual anime. So that's an interesting thing. But anyways, you guys, if you could choose one VN besides Nosebleed, what would you choose? If you could just pick one and be like, play this.
Hoshimimo.
Just Hoshimio? That's
Seriously,
interesting.
okay, and I'll explain because there's not a single day since I've been on Fuwa that I have not spoken about Hoshimimo at least once per day. I mean, whether it's in the TS or in the IRC or on Fuwa, I mean, it's just so many people have read it, and it's a great visual novel. I really think it's worth reading, and there's lots of conversations to be had about it.
Okay.
I haven't read Oshi.
heretic, we have a heretic here.
I don't like lollies, but yeah, talking about the one visual novel that I'd recommend, Planet, of course,
Mm-hmm.
the best visual novel.
All right. So we got
Uh,
Clannad and
I
Hoshi.
can I can try to explain why. I don't know why I love Planet. It's such a normal everyday story, and I don't know. I always have to compare this to Little Busters, where everything is so. Girls have massive problems. and it's your tiny little protagonist that's gonna resolve everything. In Clannad, it's a lot more, I'd say, realistic. It's novel, but yes, it is more realistic. The uh, attitude of the characters sense, and it's just good romance novel. I don't know. It has no flaws, so I have nothing. It's just 10 on 10. I don't know. I don't know. Clannad, go Clannad. Read Clannad.
Read Clannad.
Read Clannad. It's just the best.
All right. All right, guys. So we
No,
got
that's
about.
interesting. I haven't read Clannad, and you haven't read Hoshimima.
Yeah,
Looks like-
I don't like lollies, so I
Looks
can't
like-
like Hoshimemo.
But like, there's more to Hoshimimo than just Mare. I mean, there's
I-
a ton
I-
of-
Yeah,
I-
Steve makes
Only
Mare seem
thing
like
I
that's
see in the Hoshimemo is lollies. I can't eat
Like-
this. I can't like this.
My favorite character in that is Asuo. Like, I love the road. I cried like twice or three times.
I can't play a game knowing there's gonna be an hentai scene with a lolly. I cannot.
But you don't.
That's
you don't have
impossible.
to- you don't have to go there.
Isn't that the final route?
Yeah, it's the final one, but you don't
That's a
have to go
problem.
there.
That's a problem.
The final should always be the best, right? That's the true.
Exactly. Lollies are not the best, in my opinion. Humble opinion.
It's
Sorry
funny.
for.
It's funny you mentioned that because that's exactly how I
Sorry.
felt with Grisaya. Grisaya was so like, I felt there would like it explains all of like the characters through all the routes, and I like as soon as you finish the last route, it's like that's it, you're done. There's nothing else. Like
Yeah,
that's the game,
that's
and I was
all.
just like, this feels so empty. Like there's no epilogue. There's nothing like just to kind
It's
of.
really depressing.
I just you're just like this is it. I played the last route. All right, I'm done with the game. And then you're just you're like okay, guess I gotta wait for the next one. Like I don't know. I just felt like there should have been more, but
That's how I felt with Maelstrom.
got a dog going again. All right, guys. So we got about 3 minutes here left of the stream. If there's any last-minute comments, any of the questions you said, or anything you want to mention, feel free. Is there anything else you guys want to address or talk about, or you missed? Feel like you missed?
No, not really. Yeah,
Okay.
I think I've done everything.
Okay, Aldred.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I guess we can
I
cut
don't,
it.
I
I
don't
mean,
have much else.
only like 2 minutes left. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming. This is kind of more of a test run for a lot of people, so appreciate you guys joining us for a stream. I will, like I said, upload this audio. This will be episode 3. Episode 4 will be probably airing in about 2 weeks, give or take, probably by the end of the month, beginning of June. We're working on that currently right now and trying to find a time, but I don't want to start too early and just throw a bunch of episodes at people. So that's really it. I'm terrible at closing things out. I'm really good at introducing, but I don't know how to close things out.
Read Clannad, read Clannad.
Read
and-
Clannad,
Read
exactly.
Hoshimemo.
Yeah, Aldred Nosebleed knows it. Just read Clannad. That's a great way to end.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time, and hope you guys had fun on the stream.